Hello my peeps, this Algebra Nation video will cover workbook page 95 problem. How about square root of 64? And make sure you are paying attention during these videos. Unless you're a 49ers fan, quick, cover your eyes! Yes, you can celebrate when you get a 399 or higher, and you can make an algebra angel instead of a snow angel like this guy, because he just got the word that he got a 399 or higher on his EOC, and he gets high school credit for this class. Woohoo! Focus.
$4 on candy. So the total amount of money that he spent was $4. So $4 is the amount of money that he spent on candy. Let's think about that for money. So the total amount that he spent was $4. Well, where does that $4 come from? Some of the $4 was spent on Hershey Kisses. Some of the money was spent on Blow Pops. I think Hershey Kisses are a better use of money, but that's just me. Maybe you guys like Blow Pops. So if we know that some of the money is from Hershey Kisses and some of it is from Blow Pops, we want to know how much of that money is from Hershey Kisses. Well, for each Hershey Kiss, you have to spend 20 cents, right? 20 cents per Hershey Kiss. So what's the total amount of money that's spent on Hershey Kisses? Well, to be 20 cents for the first one, 20 cents for the second one, 20 cents for each of them. The total amount of money that you would spend on Hershey Kisses would be 20 cents, which is 0.20, times your number of Hershey Kisses. Each Hershey Kiss is 20 cents. Each additional Hershey Kiss that you buy costs you another 20 cents. Now we know that Blow Pops each cost 40 cents. So the total amount that John is spending on Blow Pops is what? 40 cents for each of them. Each time he buys another Blow Pop, he spends another 40 cents. So the total amount of money that he spends on Blow Pops is 40 cents times the number of Blow Pops that he buys. Well, that is not enough to figure out how many Hershey Kisses and how many Blow Pops he bought. We have two unknown variables. And you have two unknown variables, we need another equation, right? We need another equation that has both of those in there. So we know that the total number of pieces of candy is 16. So now we're talking about the number of candies. How many total candies did he buy? 16. Well, some of them were Hershey Kisses and some of them were Blow Pops. Remember, K is your number of Hershey Kisses. B, well, that's your number of Blow Pops. So your number of Hershey Kisses plus your number of Blow Pops is the total number of pieces of candy you bought. Well, we bought 16 pieces of candy. We have our two equations. That's all we need to do to get these set up. Now, we just need to solve for K and for B. How are we going to do that? Well, we could solve by substitution, or we could solve by elimination. Which one do you guys want to do? Let's do elimination. So how would we do this? We need to make sure that one of our variables is eliminated, right? We need to make sure that they cross out. If we have a 0.2k here, we need to have negative 0.2k here. If we have 0.4b here, we need to have negative 0.4b here. We need one of those to cancel out. Well, how could I make the k's cancel out? How could I make that happen? What do I need this to be? Negative 0.2k. Well, how can I do that? If I have k here, what do I need to multiply it by? Negative 0.2. I'm going to take everything in this bottom equation and multiply it by negative 0.20. When I multiply it by negative 0.20, I'll be able to eliminate one of my variables. Let's see where that gets us. If we're multiplying negative 0.2 times positive 16, are we going to get a negative or a positive? We're going to get a negative. Let's see what we get. 0.2 times 16, we get 32. Is that right? 0.2 times 16, we get 3.2. My decimal was off. So 20% of 16 is 3.2. It's going to be a negative, so we put negative 3.2. Well, that's equal to what? We multiply our negative 0.2 times k. Well, that gives us negative 0.2k. All right, let's see what we get here. Negative 0.2 times b, what does that give us? A negative 0.20b. Now this negative 0.2k, that's the same thing as saying negative 0.20k. If you add an extra 0 after the decimal place, not before it, but after your last digit behind the decimal place, it's not going to change anything. Negative 0.2 is the same thing as negative 0.20. So now that we've got our equation written out, let's rewrite our first one right here. It'll just be easier for us to combine them. So here we have $4, 4.00. Well, negative 3.20, I have two decimal places here and only one decimal place here. What can I do? I can add another 0. Negative 3.2, that's the same thing as negative 3.20. Okay, now I have my 0.20k plus 0.4b. Well, now what? We combine them. We are going to combine our two equations in order to solve for one of our variables. One of them is going to get eliminated. So we're combining a negative $3.20 and a positive $4. If I have $4 and I take away $3.20, what's left? Only 80 cents. Right? If I have 80 cents and $3.20, that adds up to be $4. So if I start with my $4 and I take away $3.20, I only have 80 cents left. Now what? Well, my negative 0.2k and my positive 0.2k, those two cancel out. So that's good. They were eliminated. Now what do we have? Negative 0.20b plus 0.40b. Are we going to have a negative or a positive? Is 0.2 bigger or smaller than 0.4? 0.2 is smaller, that's our negative. So we're taking away something smaller than 0.4. We're going to end up with a positive. So 0.40b and a negative 0.20b. 0.4 minus 0.2 is going to give us 0.20b. 0.40b minus 0.20b, 0.20b. Well, now what? We need to solve for b. We're going to divide both sides by 0.20. Well, let's see what that does. If I divide 0.8 divided by 0.2, I get 4. 4 is equal to b, because 0.20 over 0.20 cancels out with 1, and we're just left with b. So b is equal to 4. What was b? B is the number of blow pops that he bought. Well, if we know that he bought 16 pieces of candy total, remember, John bought 16 pieces of candy total. We were told that in the problem. Well, if 4 of those 16 pieces were blow pops, how many are left to be Hershey Kisses? We know he only bought Hershey Kisses and blow pops. Well, if 4 of them were blow pops, and the total number that he bought of everything was 16, well, then you have 12 left. 12 of them were Hershey Kisses. You could plug that into our equation here. We know we have 16 pieces of candy, and that's equal to your number of Hershey Kisses, which we don't know, plus your number of blow pops, which we figured out was 4. How many Hershey Kisses did we buy? Subtract 4 from both sides. What do we get? K equals 16 minus 4. 16 minus 4 gives us 12. So we had 12 Hershey Kisses and 4 blow pops. Great job on this question, guys.